Hello again. Welcome to another lesson in Algebra 1. Today we are covering section 5.3, point slope form. And this is an important lesson because this is the form of a line that you're going to start with in most of your classes after Algebra 1. Okay? So read through the process below as our warm-up. Consider the line that passes through a point 2, 3 with a slope of 1/2. If we consider any second point, xy, where x is not equal to 2, we'll see why it can't be 2 in a minute, then we could use the slope formula to write the following equation. So here's our slope, and this will be x1 and y1, and then we just picked x and y, so this will be x2 and y2. Okay. When we write our slope formula, it's m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and then we're just going to replace the parts. So in this case, m is 1/2, so I put 1/2 right here, and then y2 was y. So I just stick y there. And y1 was 3, so y minus 3. And then x2 was x, so I put x here. And x1 was 2. So I got y minus 3 over x minus 2 here. Okay. Now this is why x can't be 2, because if I had x as 2, then I'd have 2 minus 2 on the bottom, and I'd be trying to divide by 0. Okay. Now, multiply both sides of the equation by x minus 2. So this moves our x minus 2 to the other side. So y minus 3 stays on one side. I moved it to the left. And then I take the x minus 2, I times it to both sides. So instead of having 1/2, now I have 1/2 times x minus 2. Okay. This form of a line is called point slope form. Okay. Because it can be found really quickly if we know the slope and one point. So point and slope, one thing and one more thing, the point and the slope. Okay. So for instance, same problem here. If we knew the point 2, 3, and we knew the slope 1/2, then we could get this really fast. It's just going to be y minus the y coordinate, which is 3, equals the slope times x minus the x coordinate, which was 2. Okay. The point slope form of a line. So the equation y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 is point slope form for a non-vertical line. For a vertical line, it's not going to work because we can't put undefined in for m there. Of equation that passes through the point x1, y1 with the slope of m. Notice this is a shortcut way to write the equation of a line when you know the slope in one point. This method is used a lot in geometry and above, okay? Because it's both quick to write and easy to graph. All right? So using this point slope form, write in point slope form. So given the point 3, -1, and a slope 4, write an equation in point slope form. Okay. So I've got this. Here's my x and here's my y. So y minus y1. Okay, and then the slope was 4, and then x minus x1. All right, so now we're going to change this to y plus 1 equals 4, parentheses x minus 3. And why do we change it to a plus? Okay, well, subtract a negative is equal to add. Okay, so we don't want to write 2 signs in there, so we just change it to 1. So our real answer here is y plus 1 equals 4 times x minus 3. All right, so get the slope and point. So given the opposite way. So now what is the point in the slope? So the slope is here. Okay. And then the x coordinate, well, let's do the y coordinate first. It's y minus the y coordinate. So this is the y coordinate, which is 2. But over here we have x plus 2. So it's really x minus -2 in parentheses. And then the x coordinate is -2. So why is the x coordinate negative? Well, that's because x minus x1 is really x minus -2 in this case. We have to rewrite it so that we can have a subtraction sign in there. And once again, add is equal to subtract a negative. Okay. All right, so write an equation in point slope form for a line that passes through the point 1, 2 and has a slope of -2. So let's write our formula first. Y minus y1, slope x minus x1. And remember, this is x1 and y1, and this is our slope. So we go to y minus 2. Our slope is negative 2, and then x minus 1. There's no double negatives in here, so we're done. Okay, number 7. We're given the equation this time, and we need to find the graph of the line from it. So we have two parts we're looking for. We want to know the slope, and we want to know the point that this graph starts at. And that's given in our point slope form. So the slope is 1/5. And the point comes from here. Remember, it's x minus x1. So the x and the minus are already there, so the x is 3. And this is y minus y1. So the y and the minus are already there, so the y is 1. So we plot our first point at 3, 1, 3, 1. Now we've been doing a lot of places where we plot our first point on the y-axis, but this is no different. We just have our first point, and then we use our slope 1/5 to get new points. So that would be up 1 and over 5, but that doesn't fit off the grid here. So I'll go down 1 and left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then down 1 and left 5 again. All right, so we're going to get this for our line. And we could write our equation on the line, y minus 1 equals 1/5 x minus 3. And then the last one on this page, number 8, write an equation in point slope form for a line that passes through the points 5, 4, and negative 5, 9. So we have 2 points here, but we really need to know what is the slope. So I'll do 9 minus 4 over negative 5 minus 5. This gives me 5 divided by negative 10. Which is negative 1/2. Okay, and then I plug into my slope equation. There's 2 ways you could do it. I'll do it with this point first. So this will be y minus the y coordinate, which is 4, equals negative 1/2, and x minus the x coordinate, which is 5. Or we could use this one and write the answer differently. So we could say y minus the y coordinate, which is still 9, and then negative 1/2, and then x minus the x coordinate, but that's a negative, so we'll just write this as x plus 5 instead of minus a negative. Okay, that concludes number 8, and on to page 3. All right, page 3 here. We have 2 word problems. A radio station charges $650 for the first minute of ad time, and then $340 for each additional minute. Write an equation that gives the total cost in dollars to run an ad as a function of the number of minutes the ad runs. So we want to know the cost equal to something with m for the number of minutes, okay? And we have this information. We have one point that says 1 minute costs $650, and then we know the slope from that point forward is $340. So this is minutes and cost. So I can write my function in point slope form first. So my cost minus $650 equals the slope and then the number of minutes minus 1. Okay, and then I'm going to solve this equation for C so I can put it in slope intercept form, which is easier to work with for our other stuff. So I'm going to do 340 times m for 340m. And then 340 times 1 for 340. And then we're going to add 650 to both sides. And we're going to get our equation for this function, where our cost is written as a function of m, is equal to 340m plus 310. Okay? So this writes this part, where a function of the number of minutes that the ad runs, so the total cost. Okay? So there's our total cost is equal to 340 times the number of minutes plus 310. Now, if you think about this function, it makes sense only for a domain of greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so in other words, if we had a 0-minute advertisement, we wouldn't have to pay $310 for not having an advertisement at all. So this domain only works for minutes greater than or equal to 1. Right? And then the second part of the equation or question here says, find the cost of 7 minutes of ad time. So our cost is equal to 340 times 7 plus 310. So 340 times 7 plus 310. I'm going to do that on my calculator here. Was equal to 2,690. So the cost is $2,690. Number 10, the table shows the cost of renting a canoe for different times in hours. Can this situation be modeled by a linear equation? Explain. So this is yes. If we find the slope between these 2 points, it's going to be 10 over 2 for 5. And then if we find the slope between these 2 points, it's going to be, well, 10 over 2 for 5. And the same with the last one. So this can be modeled by a linear equation because the slope is constant between all ordered pairs. Okay, so now we are asked to, if possible, write that equation that gives the cost as a function of time. Okay, so we're going to do it in point slope form to begin with. So cost minus, we'll pick any one of these points. So I'll go with this one, 8 and 52. So cost minus 52 equals our slope. Well, we calculated our slope already. That was 10. Oh wait, I'm sorry, 10 divided by 2 for 5. Okay, so let's do the slope here on the side. So that's 32 minus 22 over 4 minus 2. 10 over 2 for 5. And then we have function of hours. So hours minus, and in our case, we're using this point again. So this is going to be 8. Now all I have to do is solve for the cost, and then I'll have the cost as a function of hours. So C minus 52 equals 5H minus 40. And then you add 52 on. So 5H plus 12. So the cost is equal to 5 times the number of hours plus 12. All right, this concludes our notes. On the last page, you have a follow-up. And yes, I do have the 3 answers down here, but please make sure you are trying the problems yourself and checking over the answers afterwards, not doing it the opposite way where you just write down the answers. It doesn't help you to do that at all. I'll see you in the class next time.